Hello, I'm Kelly and welcome to my Flosstube channel Animal Instinct. I'm back for another cross-stitching update today on Saturday the 17th of July 2021. I hope everyone's well. I'm just finishing up having had a week off of work, which has been great, although I really could have done with another week because I've only really felt like I've been on holidays really from yesterday, which is a shame, but that's okay. I've got all the usuals today. We've got some finishes, some whips, a new start, some plans, and a little bit of haul. I'd like to wish Joe Belushi's Stitches a very happy 40th birthday today, another 1981 baby. Happy birthday, Joe. Hope you have a great day. And I'd also just like to say to anyone watching from Melbourne or Sydney, Greater Sydney area, really thinking of you at the moment. They're all in yet another lockdown, unfortunately. So yeah, thinking of you all. All right, let's get into stitching. I've been quite productive. I think my last update was 3 weeks ago. So I've had quite a bit of stitching in that time. And we'll start with some finishes. So first up, I usually have one of these to show each update. It's the Snowflower Diaries Joyful World series that I'm stitching with Deb Wilson. We're doing one a month. You can find these patterns free on their blog, which I'll link below. And last update, I'd only just started the frame for the June block, but I have completed that. Isn't he cute? That bear is so cute. I love him. This was a great block, possibly one of my favourites, I think. So it's on 18 count Ada. This one is Heartland by Picture This Plus. And then I've also gone and finished July as well. This is on slightly different fabric. It's 18 count Vintage Country Mocha. This is a little bit darker. And that's another cute one with the flamingos. It's been a really fun series to stitch and we've only got one to go. August will be the last one. So looking forward to having them all done, and then there's a bit of work ahead of us to actually finish them ready to be displayed. And I have two more finishes. This is directly as a result of my whip parade last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember now, where I pulled out, as I went, I pulled out some older whips that I thought deserved a bit of love. And the first one I pulled out that evening actually was, excuse me, Plum Street Samplers Snort Stack. And I'd made a very small start on it a long time ago, like maybe in 2019 possibly. And I just never really came back to it. And I really enjoyed working on it again. So I pulled it out the night of the whip parade and just worked on it for the next few days until it was done. There we go. So it's on 36 count natural linen. It's all the called for flosses, so all the fancy flosses. I think this was the first time I kind of sprung for those. It's stitched 1/2 and I love it. Now it's sitting next to, we could do with an iron, oh well, the cow pile. And then I've had a really small start on the next one. It's barely worth even showing, but I will just because it's here. That's going to be Sheep Heap. So this one. Sheep Heap. Now on this one, so I'm just doing what the pattern suggests, stitching 1/2, but they've suggested in certain parts on the sheep to do 2/2 to give it a bit more texture. And I actually found, I had this in my stash, white whisper thread. It was sent to me by mistake. I ordered the black and the company was very good to deal with. They just sent me the the black that I did order straight away. And so I've had this sitting here, not sure what to use it for, but I think it'll be perfect for the sheep. So question, I've never used this before. It looks like it might be tricky. Okay, we've got a little visitor. Do I just use it one strand? Do I combine it with just some regular white DMC? So one strand of each? I'm not really sure. So if you have any suggestions on how to use this, please, I'd gratefully receive them. I presume short lengths are probably in order to prevent tangling. But yeah, if you've got any tips, let me know. Had a bit of an anxious wait with Reggie, who you just saw walk past during the last week. Another thing that I never would have thought he'd want to eat. He got into some thick rubber kitchen gloves that I'd used for cleaning, and I just had them up in the laundry just drying, and I came back and there was a whole finger missing. So I've been checking every day, and I was very relieved last night to see some green rubber in the litter tray. So thankfully we've, bypassed another trip to the vet. The next one was kind of a surprise actually. After I finished Snort Stack, I went back through the pile that I pulled out during the whip parade and was like, oh, what could I work on next? And I decided to pull out my Wonderland piece. So it's Brooke's books. Alice. I've got all 12 of them, and I'd like to do them all on one piece of fabric. And I had just started Alice. I'd barely done any. I found out in July 2018, and I'd barely touched it. Anyway, I have now finished Alice too. So let me show you her. There she is. So she's stitched on 28 count lugana. It's Opal lugana, so it's sparkly. Not sure if that's, might be able to see that a little bit. And it's 2/2 with the called for DMC. Really good pattern, easy to follow backstitch instructions, and it's come out really nicely. So the next one I'm going to do is going to be Mad Hatter. But I will put this away for a bit because I want to work on other things. Now, I think one of the reasons I wasn't working on this ever was I kind of had it in a really awkward, like I had it stored awkwardly in a crusty old plastic envelope thing that I kind of kept separate to everything else. Anyway, this is just an excuse, but I have been wanting to buy some of the Tula Pink Curiouser and Curiouser fabric range. It's Alice in Wonderland themed. So I finally did, and I made myself a bag for this project, which has come out really nicely. So that's the front. And I even managed to, I had just realised this before, I managed to have the teacups line up above and below the zip, so that was a bit of a fluke. And then on the back it's got this great, it's got the painted roses. So maybe having it in a pretty bag might make me want to work on it more. I don't know. Okay, so that was 4 kind of mini finishes, I guess, since I last filmed, which is pretty great. Just have a sip of tea. It's quite cool here today. We had a massive storm last night. I was trying to watch TV, some Flosstube, and I couldn't hear the TV for a long time. So noisy. It's a bit of a swamp outside. I'm sure there's been damage across the state from this storm. Okay, next we'll go on to whips. I've only got a couple because I kind of finished most of the things I was working on. So first up is the Temperature Typography by Sarah the Stitching Mummy. And I'm stitching this on 25 count pewter lugana. 1/1 full crosses. And we're all up to date. So I managed to finish the U last night. You can just see June and July have gotten cooler with the blue and the purple. I haven't gotten down to the lowest yet, and I'm not sure if we will. Okay, and next whip is Firefly. If that's really glary, I'll try and find a better photo to put in. But it's by Jenny Parks and it's a Gecko Rouge kit. And I've done quite a bit. So I will take the top off the Q-snap. But first of all, I finished the strip that I was working on in my last update, and I finished another strip. So I'm working in 20 deep. 20 stitch deep sort of rows, plus delving down a little bit. And you can see I've actually gotten to his, this is the cuff of his sleeve, and then his paw will be here. And this one, it's a little bit further down. But yeah, it's coming together so nicely. I have completed almost 5,500 stitches this month on this one. So I am going to put it away to work on some other things for the rest of the month, but really enjoying like systematically working down without having like all those holes if I was just doing it like randomly cross country as I used to. So let me just take the top bit off. This is always a bit of an effort, and putting it back on is horrendous. Anyway, it's okay. I wanted to get a photo too because I have also reached 21,000 stitches this year, which is a challenge in full coverage fanatics. So there he is in all his glory. He's a little bit skew-whiff, sorry. I'm not going to take him all the way off. And what I'd really like to do is another 21,000 if I can. So we'll see. I'm kind of setting myself a goal of 5,000 a month, but we'll see. I've got a lot of other things I want to work on too. But that one's coming together really nicely, and you can just see it's, yeah, there's a lot of fabric there. It's on 25 count 1/1 full crosses. And when I get to the background bits, doing them 2/1 10th stitch, just to make it go a little bit faster. I think I've now got less than 700,000 stitches to go. Right, I've had a new start, and I realised I forgot to mention this one in my whip parade as one of my sort of potential new starts, but I did mention it last update. I have started Quinto Acuto, the pointed fifth from Long Dog Samplers. And I'm stitching this on 40 count mallow linen by Zweigart. And I'm using Silks for You. I'm using PR043. So, excuse the mess. But it's a dark grey, like DMC 3799. I'm using that as the background. And then for all the motifs, I'm just choosing whatever skein of Silks for You looks good. So I've been in one of their monthly clubs for about 18 months, and I wanted to actually use some of the silk that I've received. So I figured this was a way to do it. And this is my start so far. and I love how it's looking. Definitely choosing random colours is out of my comfort zone for sure. But so far so good. I think the pig is my favourite. That's come out really nicely. When I stitched the dog, I did the outline of the diamond first. If I can come in a little bit closer. And it looked really uneven. It got a bit better as I stitched a bit more, but I'm going to measure it just to make sure. I thought I'd miscounted. It got yeah, a little bit better as I stitched on it more. But yeah, it looked really not straight. So I'm not entirely sure if this fabric is totally square. It does look better now that it's all filled in, so maybe it's okay. Maybe it was just the way it looked. But yeah, so that's my new start. Now for just a little bit of haul. This is, and it leads into plans as well, this is Deb Wilson's fault completely. I had no intention of doing any more mystery stitch alongs for the time being because I've got plenty on the go. I had seen this stitch along mentioned, seen some pictures on Instagram, and I was trying to be strong, but in the end, Deb talked me into it. Apparently I've enabled her more than she's enabled me, so she's just getting me back. But I have signed up to do the Witchy Stitcher Cryptid Sal. So it's a whole heap of cryptozoology, I think they called it. It's a cryptozoology themed stitch along, and I think there's 16 different creatures in there, things like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and all of those creatures that haven't been proven to exist but also haven't been disproven. It looks lots of fun. So I'll pop the picture in of, the sneak peek so far. I really liked how organised it is with the layout of when all the parts are going to be released and the timings. There's breaks as well for you to catch up. No idea if I'll keep up with it. Probably not. But you never know. So part of my haul, I guess, was buying the pattern, but I also bought a cone of DMC 310. It's funny because before I even knew about this stitch along, I was running low on 310, and I thought it seems silly to just keep buying skeins of it here and there when it's in everything, and why don't I just get myself a cone? So I already had that in my mind to do, and then this comes along and it needs 9 skeins, I think it was, and so I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get a cone. And she's actually calling it the Cone of Doom, and you can actually buy merchandise from the Witchy Stitcher all about the Cone of Doom. So that's part of my haul. Well, that is my haul actually. So I haven't quite decided what fabric to stitch it on yet. I put my threads together on, I've got these cards that I bought ages ago. I just haven't loaded up the 310 just yet. But the colours, these are the colours. And so I've got 2 options. My first thought was this piece of, they're both 32 count. This is Week Tea by Jay's X Stitch, and it's an even weave. So that was my first thought. And then if I can put the but when I did that, I'm just worried that this one, and there's a lot of this is 739, there's a lot of it, I'm worried that will be lost on the fabric. So that's my first option, but I also have this one. This is Boardwalk by Colour and Cotton. Really needs a good iron. It's very creased. Hopefully I can get them out. It's coming up a bit brighter. So I'll do the same on that. Oh, Reggie, go away, please. He's heard the crinkling of the plastic holding the cone, and he is obsessed with munching on plastic, so it's an ongoing battle. That's on the boardwalk. I'm clearly not used to doing that. So this one will definitely show up now, but there is another colour in here that's used much less. Yeah. Oh, maybe it won't get lost. So I think after doing the floss toss, I think I'm leaning towards the boardwalk. So this one. The only thing is, I just need to check that it's big enough. It is a 1/4 yard, but when I measured it, it was a bit smaller than that. So what I'm going to do is actually count out the stitches because it's probably shrunk in the dyeing process. And if I've got enough, of this fabric, I'll go with this one. So with that one, the border, the frame is coming out on the 1st of August, and then you've got a month to stitch that before the actual sale really kicks off on the 1st of September, I think it is. So I'll start that once it's released. Now, because I had those 2 finishes from my old whips, I went looking through my basket to pull out something else. And I tell you what, I really want to work on Mermaid's Folly, but I'm not going to just yet. I would actually like to work on Lindy Stitch's Funky Menagerie. So this is where I've got at the moment. It's on a 32 count even weave from Sew It All Australia. That's where it is. So it's almost halfway done. The final pattern is a square, I think. So I'd actually like to work towards a finish. I'm not sure how long that's going to take me, but I'm going to keep that one out for the next few weeks to see how far I can get. And maybe then I'll reward myself with Mermaid's Folly. It would just be really nice to actually tick off a whole whip from my list, because those finishes I had aren't actually true finishes because I've still got all of the other patterns in series to stitch. So that's what I'm thinking with that. Okay, so lucky last, I'm planning a new start for Jo's birthday. Mentioned it's her birthday at the start of the video. Believe she stitches. So I can't decide which one I'm going to start. I already had a pile of starts I wanted to start for my 40th birthday earlier this year, and I haven't finished starting them. So I went back and had a look, and I've narrowed it down to 2. The first one is this Gecko Rouge kit, this Raven by artwork by Lorna Lane. Same artist who designed the bee that I stitched. It's a smallish piece, 75 by 241. I think it's about 12,000 stitches altogether. I'll be stitching it on 25 count 1/1 full crosses. It's got 19 colours, they're so pretty. So that's one. The other one I'm deciding between is this kit that I've had for, I would say, a couple of years, I think. I haven't started it yet, and it's Our Forest Embroidery, the Bayonne Cat. So I've already done the whale, and this is in the same series. And it's a really nice kit. Just pull it out and quickly show you again. Comes with fabric. 32 count Belfast linen, and then their own threads. So that's fabric, so it's slightly yellowish mottled, if you can tell that. It's a bit glary out there. And then I think they're DMC based threads that they've dyed themselves. I don't know how to show them. I've already put them onto bobbins. There we go. Can't show them all at once because I'm not that coordinated. There's a couple more. And but I loved how the whale turned out. Actually, I haven't actually fully finished the whale. And I enjoyed stitching the whale, so I think I will enjoy working on that one too. But I don't know, the raven or the cat? I'm not sure, I'm torn. Maybe I should ask Joe. Let me know what you think I should start, although I probably will start this afternoon, whatever. But raven or the cat? Anyway, either way, it'll be fun. That's it from me today. I hope you all have a good stitchy week or fortnight. I'm not sure how long it'll be till I come back next. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.